the final flights evacuating British nationals from Sudan are due to land in England this morning.
The number of people repatriated from the war-torn African nation by Britain's armed forces stands at almost 2,200.
Well, let's get the very latest update. The Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly, I'm delighted to say, joins us now. Secretary of State, mission accomplished, nearly accomplished. How would you sum it up?
Well, I don't like using that term because there is still an ongoing humanitarian situation. We still have a presence at Port Sudan, both a military presence and a number of other government officials to help British nationals and their dependents leave the country. So we have concluded the air operation, the air evacuation out of Wadi Sedna to the north of Khartoum. It was a complicated operation, but I think one that has proven to be very successful. But it's not over yet, and we will ensure that we maintain a presence to support British nationals because the situation in Sudan, sadly, is still volatile and it is still dangerous.
So when you say it's not over yet, what remains to be done and how can any evacuation be carried out?
Well, we are still seeing road convoys from Khartoum to Port Sudan, and we know that British nationals have been joining those convoys throughout this evacuation. So we've evacuated, as you say, 2,300 or just over 2,300 people from Wadi Sidna, but a number of other British nationals have left through road routes, whether to Port Sudan or to Egypt or to Ethiopia respectively. And we know that that is likely to still continue in much smaller numbers than we've seen previously. So we're maintaining a diplomatic presence at those crossing points, both to Egypt, to Ethiopia and also in Port Sudan, to assist British nationals that are still looking to leave the country. Of course, in parallel to that, we're pushing for this ceasefire to become a permanent end to the violence so that we can, so that basically we can help Sudan get back on its feet with the humanitarian assistance that they're inevitably going to need now.
And how hopeful are you that you might be able to help achieve some sort of diplomatic resolution to what's happening there? Because there are complications, aren't there, not just for that region in Africa, but I suppose for all of us, because, you know, we can likely expect a big influx of people trying to legally or illegally get into the UK from the Sudan, which, you know, is not desirable. We obviously want to try and encourage people to stay where they are, if at all possible.
Well, this is an incredibly important point. The fact is there's been violence in Sudan, particularly in the Darfur region, for many, many years. And the best thing that we can do for the Sudanese people is to bring this conflict to a permanent end. I've spoken either directly or through intermediaries with both the generals involved in this conflict, making it very clear that if either of them aspires to be the leader of Sudan in the future, then a very, very important first step to their credibility is to bring this fighting to a conclusion, to get back around the negotiating table as they were just before this latest violence broke out, and to start acting like the national leader that they aspire to be. That then will benefit the Sudanese people, reduce the pressure on neighbouring countries from the refugee flows, and of course ultimately reduce the number of Sudanese people trying to get to